Good morning. My name is Huntyr Schwegman, and welcome to the continued Spotlight on Education presented by Neosho County Community College, where we highlight various programs and events happening each week at NCCC. And in today's episode, we will be highlighting a few different events going on here at Neosho County Community College, as well as the theater department. So it's first off in today's episode, we'll be sitting down with the Neosho County Theater Instructor, Kyle Chesney. Kyle, how's it going today?
It's going well. It's going well. Great to be here.
And it's great to have you and great to talk a little bit about the theater department and your guys' upcoming production. But first off, I just want to start off talking a little bit about you, Kyle. Just give us a little bit about your background, your experience in the arts and theater, and why you decided to come teach here at Neosho County Community College.
My background as a theater is mainly through the lens of acting. Right after undergrad, that's where I got started in the theater community. My first job out of undergrad was with a tiny children's theater in Lexington, Kentucky. That's where I really appreciated the love for like a homegrown, small town knit kind of community performance vibe. After that, I got interested in fight choreography and different modes of choreography for different theater productions. There's fight choreography and intimacy choreography, as well as just a general movement coaching. So that's where I've landed now is in addition to the acting, as well as movement coaching and teaching here in the classroom at NCC.
Moving on, well, let's talk a little bit about your guys' performance that you have coming up. Almost Maine. I know it's a play. I know that you mentioned it's about a small town in Maine, but that's really all I know about it. So why don't you go ahead and give me kind of the rundown, the back of the cover breakdown that'll get me into this play and get me to come see it.
Well, without giving too much away, yes, it is about a fictionalized small town in northern Maine. And it's called Almost because it is right on the border of U.S. and Canada. So it's almost Maine, almost Canada, almost Maine. It's a lovely play. It's a play about love in a small town community and how different people kind of bounce off each other or get together under the happenstance or serendipitous nature of love and community in general. It's a lovely play. It's actually a bunch of separate little vignette or French scenes that are interconnected and reference one another, but there's a clear break between episodes. Think of it like television episodes, right? It comes in little small sections and chunks. There's about 7 total stories going on, and each scene takes place with 2 to 3 actors apiece, and it's a mix of both our high school students here in Chanute and our community college students here on campus. So it's been a great opportunity to involve the larger community in what we want to do here at NCC.
When you first mentioned this play to me and trying to get some press done for the play, you mentioned that it was enchanting, and you kind of made some comparisons to Peter Pan. So what can people kind of expect in that realm, and how long does the play run? How long are we expecting to leave our kids at home with the babysitter?
Well, rest assured, you shouldn't need that babysitter for too long. The play runtime, including our 10-minute intermission, is about an hour 15. So the play is really quick, to the point, very snappy, but it also leaves room for a lot of laughs. I think the big surprise with this show is the comedy that our cast brings to the production. And I cannot give too much of that away. I'm struggling really right now to not talk about it too much, but I think there's going to be a lot of pleasantly physicalized and humorous surprises in store.
This play first came out in 2004, so it's about 20 years old now. How does it stay relevant? Is it still relevant today? Are these situations still applicable in our technology age 20 years later?
The great thing about John Cariani, who is the playwright for this play, is he has made it incredibly relevant and almost a little bit of time-proof. Why? Because it's the human element. Technology can advance as much as it wants to and as quickly at a pace as it pleases. However, you are never going to get rid of the person-to-person or the human element. What happens when people who may be in love with each other, maybe meeting for the first time, maybe old friends or old flames reunited? How do they bounce off of each other? What are the incidental little behavior things that happen along the way? That's something that this play does a really good job of dealing with, is the human element, and how when people are in a crisis of love, let's say, all of that lovely kind of behavior is displayed. And that's something that my cast has done a really good job in latching onto, is how can we tell our story to our audience in a physicalized, whimsical, and enchanting way.
You mentioned your cast there at the end, and I just want to give a shout out to some of those guys and gals, which includes Josiah Bates, Eric Blakesy, Samantha Cox, Liliana Consalves, Carly Jarman, Kyle Noof, Josie McMahon, Matthew Murphy, O'Neill Smith, Atticus Summers, and Gabe Wolf, along with the crew members, which includes Nicole Graham, Dorothy Mellett, Justin Nadendry, Violet Simmons, and Libby Swafford.
All right. And you can come see us Friday, November 1st and Saturday, November 2nd. The doors to the house open at 6:15 sharp, which gives us 45 minutes till we begin our show at 7 p.m. Tickets are $5 at the door. If you are a student here at NCCC, or a senior citizen 65 and over, or a faculty or staff member here at NCCC, you get in absolutely free. Just show your appropriate ID at the door, and we'll be glad to take care of you.
It's a great chance to experience the arts on a nice Friday or Saturday evening. So come on out and support the NCCC Theater Department, which we're going to talk a little bit about more here. So Kyle, just tell us a little bit about your exact specialty. I know you mentioned a little bit about the fighting earlier, but what kind of other productions have you been in? What kind of roles have you been in that kind of gives you the ground to stand on when teaching theater here at NCCC?
I think the roles that have taught me the most about acting are the Shakespeare ones. I'm a giant Shakespeare nerd. I love the way the verse just kind of like bounces around, and the poetry that lives under that language is absolutely beautiful and some of the best written material that mankind has ever produced. Academically, Shakespeare has taught me the most. But artistically, I believe it's the musicals that have really allowed me to flourish, because it's that idea of you have to be a triple threat. The acting, the singing, the dancing, and the movement all have to happen, often at the same time, is what the demands of the script are. So it's been a multifaceted for me as far as experiences with shows. Guys and Dolls is one of the ones that's at the top of my list to do. I know that's an oldie but goldie. I just think it has so much entertainment value for the audience. Sweet Charity is another great musical. I've also done The Full Monty professionally. That was another fun one. As far as regular shows, theater for young audiences, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe was one of my more involved productions. Not only was I an actor for that one, I was an assistant director and a fight choreographer for that one at Lexington Children's Theater. And those are the kind of aspects I do want to bring to the department here at NCCC. Not only are we facilitating art on stage, but I also want to set up the students who are working behind the scenes or in some of our lighting, sound, or set building prep. I want to give them a chance to shine artistically as well. And that's going to be the second phase here in the spring of where we're fleshing out curriculum that we're going to offer for those kind of students in the technical field as well.
Yeah, so it sounds like you kind of want to make sure that the students who come through your department and through your program, that they really exit as full-fledged members of the theater or the drama or musical plays, whatever it means, that they're going to be able to do pretty much any of the jobs that they could do in that field.
It's almost a requirement for if you want to be a theater professional nowadays to not only excel on stage, but have a role you can fulfill off stage as well. My own personal background, right before this job, I was a sound and lighting installer for high schools, colleges, churches. I mean, you name it, any kind of like institution that needed heavy duty lighting and sound equipment. And we're talking like the theatrical lighting equipment here as well. Dimmer packs, fully automated lighting boards, moving head fixture intelligent lights. I want to bring some of that expertise that I've accrued over the years and make that available to my students, because there is a huge need for technicians that can operate that kind of complicated equipment. And I say it's complicated because it does involve a little bit of basic programming language as well, which is another aspect of it that might not be readily obvious of like, hey, this is an area of training that maybe our students need to maybe make them more developed artists, either going into their 4-year experience after they transfer here or straight into the professional field with working sound and lighting for event-based work.
Yeah, you kind of started to answer my next question there at the end with talking about like the programming of lights and sound when it comes to like the computer languages. But what other kind of things are you trying to teach people that kind of future proofs their careers and kind of keeps them up to date with what's actually going on in the current industry?
Currently, like speaking outside of the context of just theater as a profession, soft skills are more in demand now than I think ever before. One of the great things theater teaches, and you almost have to learn this skill just to survive in the art form, is collaboration. Collaboration within small groups, collaborations within larger groups. And how do those two ideas play off of each other? And also finding what your niche is within a team is something that theater can teach you that is extremely valuable. And I think one of the emphasis points of this department, especially since I've discovered here in my first semester, is everybody's trying to find what their role is. Whether they're aware of it consciously or not, we as human beings want some type of role to fulfill. And theater has lots of opportunities, and here at NCCC, we're really trying to foster an environment that leverages the ability to fulfill those roles and grow within them before they migrate to either their 4-year or the professional work field.
Kyle, thank you so much for coming in and talking with me today. I really learned a lot about your passion for the theater, and it's great to have you here on campus. I know this is your first semester here with us, but it's been a good semester so far, and I think that we're bound to have some good times in the future. So just thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me.
Oh, most assuredly. And thank you again, Hunter, for having me on and for asking my questions and giving me a platform to advertise for the NCCC Theater Department. Thank you so much.
If you guys would like to learn more about the NCCC Theater Department, go ahead and visit neosho.edu/theater so you can learn more and enroll for classes today. And next up on today's episode, I'm sitting down with Freedom Stanford from the Department of Outreach and Workforce Development to talk a little bit about our upcoming Spooky Parade. Freedom, how's it going today?
It's going great. Thanks for having me here.
So, Freedom, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your title here at the college? How long have you been working for NCCC?
I started in February of this year. It's been quite a learning experience, but it's a great place to work. I work in outreach and workforce development. I am the administrative assistant for the Title III grant.
Freedom, tell us a little bit about what it's like working in the Title III grant. What are some of your daily responsibilities? What do you guys do? What do you support in the college?
The Title III grant, we really work mostly with the tech center, the Mitchell MCTC. We do the HVAC, electrical, and the plumbing department. I process requisitions. I get invoices from suppliers, and I make sure that those payments are processed. I take care of the budget for the Title III grant, making sure that it stays on track and that we're not overdrawn or anything in any of our accounts there.
Yeah, that sounds great. We always definitely need some good support people to uphold the programs that we have going on here, and especially like you mentioned at the Mitchell Center. So, like I said, today we're here to talk a little bit about the Spooky Parade that we have coming up. So, Freedom, why don't you just kind of give us a rundown of what the Spooky Parade is, when it happens, and what people should expect when they bring their little kiddos.
So the Spooky Parade is actually on Halloween Day on the 31st. It starts at 9:30 and it runs till about 11 o'clock. When the little ones come in, they're going to come into the student union. They're going to get a goodie bag. They're going to get to tour around the facility, the buildings, the different departments. And we have several departments who are participating. They're going to be handing out candy to them and giving them a chance to go through and get to see everybody.
Sounds like a great experience for the little ones and a chance for some of these daycares or preschools to get their kids out into the community and have some fun.
They'll be coming in costume, and I'm not sure how much of the staff or faculty will be in costume. I will be in costume, but they'll be getting to come through and go through the buildings, and the different departments will be handing out candy, and as you said, there's nothing better than handing out candy to little kids.
Yeah, I don't know how many of the other staff members here are going to be wearing their costume either, but I'm definitely going to wear my costume. I think that'll be fun. Like you said, it's nothing better than interacting with some of those little kiddos. So, but just explain to us a little bit about maybe why the college puts this event on. It seems maybe a little odd at first glance that a community college would want to welcome preschoolers and toddlers onto their campus, but tell us a little bit about why that is.
So the Spooky Parade, it gives the college a chance to have the preschoolers and toddlers from the community come in, but it's a great way to get the little ones in the college, it not only lets the staff, the faculty, and some of the students participate, but it kind of opens the door and invites the children in at a very, very early age so that they are comfortable with the college. And as they grow up, it's sort of a normal thing that they're going to be doing things that involve the college. So we want to get them started really early. If we bring them in here when they're really, really young and get them comfortable and familiar with the college, there's a better chance that when they get older and they're starting to decide their future paths, that they're going to remember that the community college is a place that they're welcomed at.
Yeah, I think I could agree with you there. A little bit of therapy by exposure and getting these kids comfortable, and maybe it'll help them with their long-term success later on down the road. But anyway, Freedom, that's all the time we have for today. I just want to thank you again for stopping in and talking about the Spooky Parade, and maybe we'll see you back on the show sometime in the future to talk more about CTE.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And that concludes the continued Spotlight on Education presented by Neosho County Community College. My name is Huntyr Schwegman, and I'd like to thank you all for listening today. Tune in next week as we highlight more programs and events happening at NCCC. Go Show!